to today's meditation time. As you bring yourself into the physical space, wherever you are for these minutes, allow yourself to get comfortable. Allow your eyes to either close or your gaze to soften. And then just allow yourself to have this moment. There will be things that come across our mind that remind us of what we should be doing, what's on the list unfinished, or even just the things that we enjoy. So as we sit in this present moment and the distractions come, again, give yourself this moment. And then as you exhale and this moment passes, give yourself the next one. And then begin to settle into a really nurturing, calming pace of breath. Before we explore the questions or the thoughts for today, let's just each pause and just reflect on today. Reflect on the parts of today for which you were grateful. It'd be so easy to make a list of the things that didn't go our way or things that caused us a little agitation, but let's just pause and think. What about today am I grateful for? What do I feel appreciation for in my heart? What were those moments that when I pause and I think about them, I smile? And I would encourage us to pause and do this all the time. Right about the point that life gets noisy, or traffic gets thick, or people get impatient. Just pause, and as you breathe in, just think, what am I grateful for right now? And see if that can shift how you deal with all the distractions and all the noise. And when you can begin to do that, you truly are experiencing this meditation practice in your everyday life. And it is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So as we've gathered together for these few minutes today, just in the very near shadow of Earth Day yesterday, I want to just pause and just think about what a privilege it is to live where we live, to be surrounded by the beauty that we see every day, even when we sometimes forget to notice it. And so let's just pause and just think. This earth is filled with so much. What's your favorite part? Is there a place that you hold dear? Is there a kind of space where you go out into nature that you just feel peaceful and at ease? Just think, what about this earth do you just love and appreciate? Thich Nhat Hanh often talks about writing or thinking these love letters to the earth. Because oftentimes I think that we just forget what a privilege it is to live here. Not with the conveniences of our contemporary society, but beyond the concrete and the streets and even the houses. We are surrounded by so much beauty. There's nothing more beautiful than to look out across traffic, across the street, or across a stack of buildings and then see the green just growing up in spite of it. The tree that persists next to the building. The grass and the flowers that begin to creep up through the sidewalk. There's so many little evidences of this amazingness of earth all around us. And so today, I'd like us to pause and maybe be in awe just a little bit. In 1969, we know that Neil Armstrong took that first step on the moon. And the way he describes it is that he was truly in awe. There's a phrase, there's a quote that he is famous for saying that really captures what he felt when that first step of his foot touched the surface of the moon. Then there's these astronauts who sit out in space on the space station, and they're there for long periods of time. In fact, since 2020, there has been someone at the space station continuously. And there's always these stories of when they come back after their weeks of being away from home on the earth. They are amazed at that first footstep. They're amazed by the colors of the trees and the flowers. They're in awe of the incredible beauty of nature all around them because they were away from it for a while. So what if we, as these just regular human beings living our lives, doing our things, what if we could embody that same awe that Neil Armstrong felt when he set his foot on the moon, or when the astronauts come back home after being away from the earth for so long? What if we could feel the same awe, the same privilege to step onto this planet, to feel the grass beneath our feet, to feel the dirt underneath us, to stand under the shade of a tree, to look in your garden and see these little sprouts coming up from the dirt? What if we could just be in awe? I propose that if we could begin to cultivate that way of thinking within us, it would cause us to treat the earth a little differently. We know from a scientific perspective there is energy fields up and down and through all the layers of the earth, the same way that there's energy running through us. What if, with each step that we take through our day, we think of that step as a step of healing energy to this planet that needs it so much? What if our steps became a little slower, a little more intentional? I fear that the earth feels it when we rush. I also fear that the earth feels it when we worry, when we're angry, the same way we feel it when someone else's energy has those things within them. So what if the earth could begin from us to feel something different? We often talk about the healing for this world, for humanity, starts with us. The peace in us creates peace in our community, peace in our home, and eventually we hope that it begins to just ripple out to peace throughout our country and our planet. And while we still want to do that, we still want to breathe out the peace. We want to have peace and compassion in our interactions. What if, instead of just thinking about the person-to-person connection, what if we commit to heal the earth? I know that we are small people in the grand scheme of so many things. We can't change industry, and we can't reverse some of the things that are happening across this planet. But we can bring calm, peaceful, healing energy from our presence into this planet. Imagine flowers that grow from that kind of energy, from that kind of soil. Imagine trees and their strength and their stability when they're in the earth, in the ground, that's been healed by our presence. And I know that it sounds maybe a little too much out there, but I think it's possible. As much as we feel when someone in our own space is anxious or worried or angered, I think nature feels it from us. And so I propose that for each of us here collectively, those of us listening to this later on, maybe it could start with us. Maybe we could be more mindful with each step that we take, each breath that we share, that when the trees begin to breathe in what we have then exhaled, they breathe in calm, healing air. So again, I'd like us just to think about the awe of these astronauts, the incredible nature that they look around and see, and they don't take it for granted. Let's try that in our own lives. So for the next couple of minutes, let's just sit quietly. And what I would invite you to do is often I just say, let your mind be still and quiet. Let the thoughts just set to the side. But today, take your mind on a field trip through nature. Your favorite spot, places you've visited, videos you've seen, places you aspire to check off your bucket list. Not structures, not the man-made stuff. Nature. And so as we sit in these moments of quiet together, just allow your mind to go there and see how it makes you feel as you picture those spaces, that beauty. As you continue to breathe softly, gently, bringing your mind back to focus on this moment, I'm reminded that there is so much research out there that talks about the effects of meditation from a medical perspective. Because we know in this practice that our anxiety becomes less, our ability to regulate and stay calm increases. And what doctors have found is that those who practice meditation actually have found positive impacts to their overall health, an increase to their immune system, a slowing down of disease, a lessening of the effects of aging, an increased vibrancy in their overall health. And while I know that we also hear in research that there are effects of climate change that are irreversible, I'd like to think that if a meditation practice over these days and weeks and years can create physical health within me, how might my practice also impact the healing of this world? I appreciate the scientists and the researchers who are trying to solve these problems. But I think that maybe the solution is in the energy that we send back out to the planet. The same way that this practice helps our relationships with our family and with ourselves and with our colleagues, I believe with all my heart it will also impact our relationship with this planet. We don't have to go to space to be in awe of that footstep. We have the privilege of doing it here every single day. And so maybe in the coming days, you'll find a chance to pause. You'll find a chance to just stand and notice what kind of energy is flowing from you with each breath you take. And then picture it, hugging in around those trees, pushing down into the soil, wrapping itself around the bushes and the flowers. See that planet. See that image of our world. And the more of us that do it, I'd like to believe we can reverse some of these things that they say are irreversible. But just like the peace that Lao Tzu says for the world starts with us, I think for our earth it starts with us as well. We mindfully sit in our practice. Now as we rise up, let's mindfully live on this beautiful planet that we get to call home. Namaste.